Welcome to the predicted starting 11. Saints travel up to Selhurst Park for a Saturday lunchtime kickoff. Let's hope the Eagles don't soar, and let's hope the Saints aren't a bore. Let's get into the team. First up then in the nets then has to be Fraser Forster. Now he's one of maybe 3 or 4 players in the squad that are absolutely nailed on, and there's no other competition in that area of the pitch. But Fraser Forster, maybe you could blame him for not getting down quick enough to maybe save those 2 shots against Watford last weekend. But as I've been saying all season long, not enough competition in this area. Into the back 4 then with Cedric Soares in at right back. Now, as I said with Fraser Forster, there's not much else other competition that really is pushing for that first team place. So Cedric is undoubtedly one of the best fullbacks in the league anyway. Cedric definitely to retain his place on Saturday. And into the centre-back pairing then. Well, we've seen the conference with Pellegrino. Van Dijk will be a late decision into the squad, but first of all, let me go for Maya Yoshida to come in and return against Crystal Palace. Now, Jack Stevens played alongside Wesley Hoot last time out, but there are obviously some positives to take. But I think Yoshida maybe coming add a bit of extra experience, and he should be fully recovered now from maybe a bit of jet lag coming over from Japan. And alongside Yoshida then, for me, I have to go with Wesley Hoot. I think he has to retain his place. I think he had a fairly decent debut. Didn't really put much of a foot wrong. We saw him try and spray some long ball passes and really trying to get himself off the mark in his Saints jersey. So I think Wesley Hoot will come in and retain his place on Saturday. Finishing off the back 4 then undoubtedly is Ryan Bertrand. We know what to expect from Ryan. Gets down and loves to bomb down that left-hand side of the park. And like Cedric and like Forster, not too much competition and pushing for a place in the first team. But Ryan Bertrand, like Cedric, we've got a great pair of fullbacks there. Into midfield and sitting deep, holding midfield has to be Oriol Romeu. We know the strength and the core of Oriol Romeu definitely to retain his place. And again, like Cedric, like Bertrand, like Forster, those 4 players there are our key ingredients to this first team. And alongside Romeu then has to be Mario Lemina. Now this is a player that we absolutely missed his strength and his bullish sort of a style against Watford. Definitely Lemina to return against Crystal Palace at the weekend, and I think the same reason applies to him as it was for Yoshida. Both of them had long distance travels coming from their international duties. Into right midfield then, now slightly different to his ordinary selection, but for me this one has to be Dusan Tadic coming on the right hand side. I think it's likely he will play maybe right or maybe left. They'll probably swap in between during the game against Palace, but Dusan Tadic tried to make himself a nuisance against Watford, and unluckily for James Ward-Prowse, I've been a fond believer of his ability, but he was very poor against Watford, and Dusan Tadic was introduced at half-time, tried to make more of an influence on the game. Into the centre attacking midfield player then, and a man of the hour, the player due to make his 200th appearance for the Saints in the red and white shirt, Stephen Davis to captain the side. And there's been some debate in Pellegrino's conference whether Van Dijk could be handed back the captaincy, but I think Stephen Davis's attitude, his leadership, should be justified, and he should maintain the captaincy for the entire squad through the rest of the campaign. And I'm finishing off in the midfield with Nathan Redmond on the left-hand side of the park. Really struggled against Watford, didn't really make much of an influence, had a torrid time getting bullied by some of the midfielders and some of the defenders. Hopefully he can find his shooting boots once again, and maybe, as I said, Dusan Tadic and Redmond is likely to swap. Redmond's a right-sided player. We'll see him on the right-hand side, and we'll see Dusan, left-sided player, on the left-hand side. I'm sure those 2 will swap during the game against Palace. And finishing off the starting 11 then with Manolo Gabbiadini. We've been starving him over the last few weeks. He's absolutely desperate to add to his tally, and he's been living in poverty for the last few weeks with no service and nothing to really feed off. And he had 10 touches against Watford, 2 of which were from kick-off, so really 8 touches from open play. Let's get the ball to feet. Let's get the ball from the channel to Gabbiadini. Let him run off the man against Palace, and surely he's got to put that ball in the back of the net. Finishing off then with my prediction, and if you want a really safe bet with Ladbrokes, if you want to take Saints to win, both teams to score, that's 9-2. It's worth a fiver, surely. I'm sure Palace will react. They'll score a goal, and I think Saints will be looking to score a couple of their own. Surely we've got to take 3 points away from Selhurst. That wraps it up then for the predicted starting 11 to play Crystal Palace at Selhurst Park on Saturday lunchtime. Let me know what you think of my team in the comments below. But as always, leave us your likes, your comments and subscribe for more.